Good afternoon and welcome to episode 2 of our weekly-ish podcasts, I guess. We'll see how we go. I did say I was going to upload every Tuesday, Thursday maybe, so here's our Tuesday episode. Today we'll continue with the F1 predictions. Yes, I know I forgot about Haas and Alfa Romeo, sort of. I kind of wanted to use them in another video anyway, but maybe I forgot them out because they're not that exciting. Are they exciting? No. Haas definitely aren't. Jesus, they're boring. Apart from crashing into each other, which is the only entertainment factor I can see. We'll also be looking at the updated 2020 calendar. This is our opening 8 races that will be part of the European season, or will be the European season hopefully. All the races obviously behind closed doors with no fans, minimum people, but we'll get into that in a second. Firstly, I'd just like to talk about the Alfa Romeo and Haas F1 predictions. Will Haas stay in F1? Maybe. Maybe not. They've not really done much. They've kind of bubbled around. In fact, their best season was probably their debut season. Since then, they've just been reusing the same old cars all the time. They just look exactly the same every year. And then they had the whole fiasco with rich energy drinks. I don't know. They might stay in F1 if they do another couple of years. I don't see much happening there, much changes. But of course, they are now an established team business, so they could be bought out by someone else. We'll have to see. Again, they are part of the Ferrari corporation. They use their engines, blah blah blah. Drivers: Romeo Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen. Do I like either of them? No. Used to like Grosjean, but it's gone off him a little bit. I don't like either driver. I think they're both just too robust and just irresponsible. You can get rid of them easily. Anyone could drive fast. Do I see him sticking around? Probably for another 2 years, maybe. If they were going to stay at Haas, I think Romeo Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen will both see their Formula 1 careers end at Haas. We'll have to see. I don't know. I don't see much change there. Alfa Romeo Sauber Racing. Well, they are part of the Ferrari program now, the junior Ferrari team. Kimi Räikkönen and Antonio Giovinazzi, the drivers. Do I see that Alfa Romeo sticking around? Yes, of course I do. Whether they can do anything is a different question. Maybe they can be... they've had times where they've shown really good pace, and then they've had races where they've been nowhere, so it's a difficult one with them. Not the best midfield team, not the most consistent, definitely. Kimi Räikkönen will see his F1 career out with Alfa Romeo Racing. He might be there for another year or two max, and then he'll go off and do something else, or just retire from racing. Antonio Giovinazzi, I don't even think he's that quick, but again, he's got a lot of promise and backing behind him, so he could go off to race in another championship, or maybe be a Ferrari test driver, reserve driver or something. Maybe we'll have to see. That's the only thing I can think. I think they'll both stay at Alfa Romeo Racing for at least one more year. I don't think we'll see much changes for next year in terms of what's already on the grid. And then after that, I'm not sure. Maybe they'll both retire or both leave Formula 1. Sorry, at the end of 2021. I don't know. We'll have to see. These new rules being pushed back a year has changed everything a little bit and upset the dynamic in the world. But we'll have to see. At least we've got racing. So let's look at the updated European calendar. So it's 8 rounds, 6 different venues. We've got 2 races in Austria and 2 races in Great Britain. I think that's really good because of logistics and stuff. Obviously, most of the F1 teams are based in the UK near Silverstone, so it makes sense to have 2 races there. Austria is not too far away. I mean, these are all quite doable circuits. Hungary, Germany isn't even on there. Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about Germany recently, whether they've been racing in Hockenheim or the Nürburgring Ring. So, but both tracks have shorted of fundage and everything. Which circuit do I prefer? If I had the choice, I'd be Hockenheim every time. I think it's just a better flowing circuit. There's more drama, there's more action. Regardless of the rain race we had last year, you could still have a good race there. So, I prefer that personally than the Nürburgring. In terms of this calendar, I think it's great. It starts off in July 3rd and 5th, and then they stay at Austria for 2 weeks, and then they'll move on to Hungary. And it's quite a compact calendar. Obviously, we don't need the summer break anymore because we've had a break since last November, so you don't exactly need a break. And then it sort of rolls on to September, so it edges on a bit longer than it usually would. And then we'll have to see what they do after that. I remember a lot of the flyaway races at the end of the season are in Asia, and that's where it's all sort of kicked off and started. So whether or not we can go there is a different question. Obviously, the Chinese Grand Prix is ruled out. We're not going back there this year. We may not even go back there next year. Japanese Grand Prix, well, they're not in the best shape at the moment, so possibly not. Races like Abu Dhabi and maybe Bahrain are still on the possibilities because they've been handling stuff quite well, so I'm sure we could probably go to them. Brazil maybe is looking quite unlikely now, with South America being really heavily affected. But we'll have to see. I'm sure we'll get a couple of flower air races, and we may even do double race weekends at some Grand Prix. Might even have 2 races at Abu Dhabi, we don't know. But this for me is a solid European campaign, and we get multiple races. What their plan was at these double races, so Austria and Great Britain, they were thinking of doing reverse grid races for one of them and trialling that. And I think this would be the best year to do that, because it's a silly season really. It's not written off, but if we're going to try things, we might as well do it this year while everything's topsy-turvy and changed. So why not do reverse grid races? Unfortunately, as usual, the FIA have left it in the hands of the teams to decide. 9 out of the 10 teams decided. Take a guess which one said they didn't want to do it. Yes, Mercedes. They could win the race from last anyway. It doesn't make any difference. I don't know why they're crying over it. They're so desperate to win. It's probably because they put so much money in the project that they just want to keep winning. Either way, we're not doing that. It was officially announced this morning that has been scrubbed and we're not doing it, so we're just doing normal races. Whether they change the distance of the races is maybe a different idea. They might change the distance of the double Grand Prix, so maybe have like a sprint race in Austria and then a normal standard race. I don't know. More than likely they'll just stay to the normal sort of race lengths, so the usual amount of laps. You're looking at just under a 2-hour race for each one. They were trialling the idea of a reverse race at Silverstone, but they can't do that because it's not FIA certified to do reverse grid races, and it would take a lot of money and time to do, which no one has at the moment, so you might as well just do 2 standard races. Of course, these are all with no crowds, so you've just got minimum teams, personnel, and the people that they just need there, like security, maybe a couple of cameramen, first aiders, everything, just the basics really. That's all you're going to get. More than likely, everyone will just stay at the circuit. They won't go to hotels or anything. They'll just stay where they are and sleep the night, and no one there. I mean, can you imagine how quiet it will be with the Grand Prix? That'd be crazy. But at least we still have the races, and of course you can watch all of them on TV, so Sky Sports F1 and other streaming services. They will obviously all be up with the highlights and stuff on their YouTube channel afterwards. In terms of how the racing will be, I don't know. Teams haven't really been at the factories, so they haven't really been doing anything. They haven't changed anything on the cars because we haven't really had any racing. We've only had the testing. They've changed maybe a few things, but nothing major. We've got obviously the main test coming with free practice 1, which will be in Australia on the 3rd of July, on the Friday. They were thinking about cutting one of the practice sessions as well, which wouldn't bother me too much, and maybe just doing it 2 days instead of 3 days, but whatever. Of course, they've still got the support packages, so Formula 2 and Formula 3, but their calendar is also reduced, so they won't be at all the rounds. They might, I think, the Porsche Carrera Cup Europe will probably still be there as well, so we'll have to see what will be there. But either way, there'll still be stuff on TV, and we'll have to see how we get on. In terms of how good I think the racing will be, is fairly dull as usual, because obviously the rules haven't changed and we've got to wait another year for that. But do I think the grid will be mixed up slightly? Possibly. Mercedes is still going to be up there, of course, as a Ferrari, and Red Bull looking really good. If anything, I'd say Red Bull the second fastest team. They could even challenge for some wins. Racing Point with their Mercedes-esque pink car will more than likely be up there. Could be best in the midfield, could be 4th, could be even as good as Ferrari, we don't know. We'll have to see. Hopefully they are. I really do, despite them copying Mercedes, it is a legal thing to do, and if they do well, they do well, and hopefully other teams will try and do that for next year, and we might have something a bit more interesting. Midfield will be as tight as ever. Renault and McLaren will hopefully be on the top of it. Daniel Ricciardo and McLaren, I'd like to see McLaren do well, so they could be maybe 4th or 5th fastest team. Renault will be up there in top 6. Obviously the Hondas of any Honda engined car has made significant progress, so could see the Toro Rosso or Alfa Tauri's up there. Alfa Romeo could be, I don't know. I don't know. You lose and gain all the time, so we'll have to see. A lot of these tracks are actually quite fast circuits. Especially 2 quick races in Austria at the start of the season will be interesting, so any car that does well there will have 2 good weekends. Any car that, it's a difficult one. If your car's not suited for a circuit, you're going to miss out on 2 things. If any cars that aren't good in Austria or in the UK, they're going to miss out on 2 good point scoring races, whereas any cars that are good on those circuits will have 2 really good points. So we'll have to see. Either way, it's good to have racing back, regardless of, even if Mercedes win, I don't care. It'll just be nice to watch. To be honest, I'm rolling this season and next season off anyway, and just looking forward and hoping and praying that the new rules that come in 2021 or 2022 now will be good and mix up the grid, but we'll have to see. Anyway, I'm happy that the championship's coming back and that racing is coming back. I mean, NASCAR have been back now for a little bit. I've not really watched it, it's not really televised in the UK, but Bristol is a good circuit and they raced that this weekend and that was fun. A lot of other championships are coming back. Touring cars should be returning soon, and it's all August onwards. We've got a lot of virtual races. Virtual Le Mans 24 might be interesting, but it's just hard to get into. It's like certain sports that you're not used to, like golf or cricket. It's difficult to get into because you don't know what's sort of going on, and it's not as entertaining as you'd find your mainstream sport. Like I'd find watching cars in real life more exciting because it's the adrenaline rush. It's the idea that they could crash in real life and something could happen in real life. Where it's virtual, you just he's crashed and he's carried on. Big deal. But either way, I'm happy things are slowly starting to come back, so we'll have to see. So thank you all for watching. I shall be back on Thursday for another video. See you later. Bye.